Program, we like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group, Common Ground.
Common Ground is a group of farm women who want to be a resource for consumers who want to know more about how their food is grown. Joining us today, one of our favorite people, Leslie Boswell, is here. Nice to see you.
I'm so glad to be here. It's been a while.
Yeah. Did you have some storms in your area?
We really did not in our area. We didn't hardly get any rain either, but it made it damp, so the planter's not running today.
Okay.
We're getting close. We've got about 250 acres of beans left, and he can finish that in a day or two, depending on moisture and issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which they're always there.
Well, that's what we're talking about today. A little bit is planting and planting season. I know it's been a challenge for some people with the cold conditions and everything, but you're here today to talk a little bit about no-till planting. What is that?
No-till planting is when the ground is not worked up before you go in to plant. With the advances in the technology and the equipment that we can use, they have made it so that you can go directly into the old crop stubble or what was left from the previous year and cut through it, make your seed furrow, put the seed in and cover it up in one pass. Now, it's not always possible to do everything no-till, depending on circumstances, but it is so much easier now where our season has been so late this year because of the cold weather. We didn't have to go in and work the ground 2 or 3 times before we went in and plant. We just go in and plant and it's done. So that saves us a lot of time. It saves us a lot of fuel, a lot of trips across the field. And from a sustainability aspect of it, we're using less fuels. We're not working up the dirt as much. Although the wind has been blowing it tremendously, it would have been far worse if we had gone back to old practices that used to be used.
And the old practices really were disking the ground up, really turning it over
disking,
2 or 3 times,
cultivating
right?
it, not leaving any residue on the surface and working it up very fine. And we don't do that. You need to have a good fine, or not fine, but reasonable seed bed. But yet it's not worked up to the powder that it used to be.
And we have some photos here of what this might look like.
Now this is, I can't quite see it, but that's, you can see the stubble from the old crop in there in the rows, and that works as a ground cover that helps keep that dirt there, and it also helps preserve the moisture that's in the soil. Now those are soybeans that are planted into corn stubble, and that is what we do, is we always put our new crop beans into the old crop corn, and then the vice versa on the corn going into the bean ground. This is just little baby beans coming up.
And there's some of the big equipment that kind of helps you speed up the process and get things done.
You can see how much ground cover there is there where that corn stalk, the old corn stalks are laying there, and the ground is basically covered behind that planter. That helps hold the soil and helps hold the moisture there.
Very cool.
Leslie, are more people going to this technique?
Absolutely, but it does depend on your soil. Now, with the windstorms that we had last fall, that knocked a lot of our corn off the stalks. We had a lot of corn ears on the ground. And some of that did need to be worked because then we'd have this volunteer corn coming up this year that would be an absolute nightmare for us. So some of our ground was worked, but not all of it.
Okay.
We try not to if we don't have to.
Yes, yes. Well, it's good to see that this is going on. I'm sure consumers are interested in how it's sustainable, and you're doing things in a sustainable way there. Okay.
All right, and you're sticking around with the recipe.
Yes, I am.
And this one sounds complicated, but it in fact is very easy.
Oh, simple.
Ooh, okay, so stay tuned for that.
All right. Well,